Yeah, so what's happening? Allegedly, now this is a Stephen Holder report. He's been around Indianapolis a long time. He said 6 teams are interested. 2 people made offers, including the Miami Dolphins, I believe was his report last week on Friday. Now, interested, what does that mean? Is that like Brandon Beane and Howie who call on everything? Does that mean interested, or teams actually putting up what they think it would take to become an, I don't want to say owner, it sounds bad, but Jonathan Taylor's team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is there anybody, how close are people, and how do you think the Colts are viewing this?
First of all, there is real interest. I know there was a lot of teams that called, and you're right, a lot of those calls are, when people will ask me, like, who's in the mix, I don't even say the Eagles anymore, because they really do call on everyone. I think the Jets are kind of like that. Bills are kind of like that. Like, there's plenty of teams just calling everyone. There is real interest. To me, I would say, at this point, it's probably more likely he gets traded than he stays.
Okay. So are they going to take it? Are they going to take best offer, you think? That's where the Colts are at this point? Because I think Florio alluded to that last week as well.
I mean, I think as long as the offer is good enough, I would say yes. So what does that mean? Well, Christian McCaffrey got traded for a 2 and a bunch of other picks. I don't know. We'll see if they get that. I mean, it's all about market and need. And I think at that point, the 49ers were very motivated to deal for Christian McCaffrey. So that was what they were willing to pay. If Chris Ballard gets that, then I think a trade probably gets done. If he gets close to that, it's just, if you're the Colts and you don't make a trade, where does this go?
Yeah.
Which
was going to lead me to this. Josh Jacobs and the Raiders were able to just negotiate a deal which would get him paid more than what the franchise tag would pay him. Feels like a Saquon Barkley type move over in New York. Does that affect how the Colts and Jonathan Taylor are talking at all? Does that affect anything in that particular sphere? And how did that Josh Jacobs deal come to be? Because we heard the GM tell a fan, we'll get it done. We'll get it done. Was there ever a dot?
No, I always thought it would get done, but there were some times when it got a little tense. So I can't pretend that it was like, as expected. Like, it wasn't necessarily as expected. It was a lot of waiting around. It was a lot of angst. And then I think the last couple days, Josh Jacobs and his agent were in flew to Las Vegas, and were like, let's start meeting and let's have conversations. And there was some high-level conversations with Raiders people that kind of, I think, cleared the air a little bit. Made sure everyone got on the same page. And, it's tense because there was an offer and then there was a counter, and eventually they couldn't get together on a long-term deal. But I think the hope of these conversations was like, this doesn't necessarily mean what we think of you. It's just, we couldn't agree on a deal. We just disagreed on value. And they got together, they had some meetings. I think everybody realized that Josh Jacobs should be there on time, with enough time to go out and be in shape and go kill it this season.
2 weeks.
And then that's the best for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think it does help the market a little bit because he's in the books at 1 for 12. And so, Taylor's obviously going to get over that anyway, but just another block for
this cycle, or you think whoever trades for him is going to have a new deal for him? It's going to be over. What do you think it's going to be, like 14 a year? Because you wanted 17 at one point. What do you think the asking price is now?
I don't know what the final number is going to be, but I would imagine it's over 12, and I think it's going to be a real running back salary. And you always want these players to get as much as they possibly can. You always want them to get what they're worth.
$1 billion.
And so if he gets, let's say, just a real running back deal after getting traded, that helps everyone, and that kind of reestablishes the running back market where it should be, which is great young players get paid at the top of the market. That is the way it should be.
You think it's Miami?
I know they're in the mix. They're not alone. There is another. I think that is right. There is at least another team. I'm not 100% sure who it is, so I don't want to just say it.
Oh, really? But you don't know? What's that mean? You know there's another team, but you don't know who the team is? How's that work?
I'm not 100% positive. And I don't want to, that's the problem, is like you see that in baseball, it's like mystery team, and everyone's like, okay, sure, but like.
How do you know, though? Just because you talk to people who talk to people, so it's like third hand, there's a team other than the Dolphins that has made an offer, and you know that because 2 people have said that know who the people are or something like that? That's how that information...
But then to say it publicly, you'd have to be like absolutely sure, and I'm not absolutely sure who that team is, but I do believe, I think the Colts are going to have enough to where they are going to be able to trade him. That is what I mean. And as I know how deeply you care about the Colts, like that, I think this is going to be best for them in the long run.
Yeah. A guy that doesn't want to be there is not going to be there anymore while you're building a new culture. Yeah.
Get him out.
That's good. Now, our Madden rating is going to go down as a team.
Sure, for sure.
Because we're losing a really good player.
Exactly.
And our team's talent level is not at the point where we can just be throwing away 5-star guys. But with that being said, a 5-star guy isn't a 5-star guy if he isn't all the way in. So he'll be a 5-star guy, hopefully somewhere else that pays him and he feels wanted and he's all the way bought in. And I hope that happens. But in your building, you don't want that. Nobody wants that. I mean, it's like we can't. It's almost like how people say the NBA guys run the league. And it's like with how little of the amount of people they have on their team, if one person is being a fucking nope, that's going to cut. You have no chance of having success.
No.
So it's like I think NBA guys now have just realized that, like, oh, yeah, we have all the say in the world. All we got to do is, our hamstring hurts. Harden, out of Brooklyn, right over to Philadelphia. You know what I mean? Like, those types of things just seem to happen. I think in the NFL, if you're a guy, you could probably do it too, you know?
Yeah.
Like Jonathan Taylor.
Well, I mean, I remember, I know this has happened forever, but the first one, when I kind of really started doing this, Jalen Ramsey with the Jaguars was the first one.
He
where
fought the D coordinator, right?
Yeah.
Or the head coach. I forget if he fought Doug or if he fought the
I don't
D.
think it was Doug.
Well,
It was
I
awesome.
think he actually likes Doug Marrone. If I remember, I think he likes. I think it was more the. I don't want to put words in Jalen Ramsey's mouth, but I think it was more the Tom Coughlin in the front office than because I think him and Doug Marrone are tight. But that was the first time when I was like, this is a player taking control of his own situation, going somewhere else, getting paid. Like that was
OBJ, OBJ in Cleveland. You know, hey, Dad.
That was a good one too. Took a pay cut, or I think took less money to leave, and then got a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, and also if you're the Browns, there's literally what are you going to do? Keep around Odell Beckham Jr. who hates being there? Like you can't have that in meetings, can't have that in the locker room, can't have that traveling. Like Jonathan Taylor pretty much said, yeah, okay, you want to keep me around? This is going to suck for everybody, including me. This is going to suck for me. I'm sure Jonathan Taylor's not having fun. I'm sure this is not a fun time in Jonathan Taylor's life. So hopefully he'll have success elsewhere. And congrats to Shane Steichen now actually having a chance, you know, to maybe win over everybody in the room. We'll see how that happens by tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, I think that the deadline is tomorrow. And I think that makes sense to make sure that all roster moves are kind of done. So I think that makes sense.